Hi Stampers, Jackie Bolhuis from Klompen Stampers. I have some gorgeous cards to share with you today. We are going to be making a card using the Lasting Lily stamp set. Now many of you know about this stamp set and maybe you don't. It's a freebie. You can't buy it. The only way you can get this is free. It's part of Stampin' Up! Sale-a-bration special that whenever you place an order between now and the end of March, you get to select a free item. Most items require a $50 purchase. This one though, because it's such a big, awesome, gorgeous set, it does require a $100 order. But you place a $100 order, it's free. Now, if you don't have a Stampin' Up! Catalog or a brochure or know anything about what I'm talking about, make sure to let me know. I would love to be your Stampin' Up! Demonstrator and I'll be happy to send you those catalogs. So, before I go any further, I just want to remind you, if you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel. I bring quick and easy stamping videos to you, usually 3 times a week. So subscribe and then also click or hit, I guess, that little bell because that'll make sure you get notifications whenever I have a video for you. Now, I'm going to go ahead, flip the camera down. We're going to take a look at the stamp set. And the card that I'm going to make for you today is actually falling into my SIP series. SIP, S-I-P, stamps, ink, and paper. You know, sometimes I think we get so overwhelmed thinking we need so much stuff to make beautiful cards. Well, I disagree. You need a SIP. Stamps, ink, and paper. So I'm going to show you a beautiful card using just that, but then I have quite a few other samples I'm going to show you that use a few other products added onto it. So let's flip the camera down and get stamping. Here's a look at this Lasting Lily stamp set. There are so many awesome greetings. It's really kind of centering around sympathy type cards. But what I love about it is the images are so pretty. And if you need other types of cards, you can so easily bring in any greeting you want. Whether you need to make thank you cards, birthday cards, anniversary cards, wedding cards, thinking of you, get well. You'll get lots of use out of the flowers, but then these words are just so good for those cards that we really struggle with. Now, you'll notice this stamp set is very, very detailed. Stampin' Up! Has quite a few of these that they're coming out now. They're called distinctive stamps, and that simply means that the image is super, super detailed. And I know some people have been struggling stamping with it. So part of the goal of my video today is to not only show you how to make a SIP card, but also to give you some tips for when you're stamping with these really detailed stamps to get a good image. So let's set that down. And you're probably wondering why I have plastic spoons sitting here. This is the trick on these distinctive stamps. I know, sounds kind of silly, but when you take your Stampin' Up! Ink pads, and they designed them this way on purpose, that when they're stored, as you know, they're actually stored upside down. Ink surface is upside down. That keeps that ink at the top of it so that when you're stamping, you're gonna get, your stamps are gonna ink up really well because all the ink's on the surface. That kind of works against us with these detailed stamps because it's really easy to get too much. Let's start with the daffodil here. It's really easy to get too much ink on these stamps. So one of the tricks, and we're going to use a spoon, but first I want to stamp it without using the spoon to compare for you. You know, we always tell you, ink those stamps up good. Tap them on here. Make sure they get good and inky. And then go to your paper and give it some really good pressure. Well, sometimes, now actually since I've been using this yellow pad, it's really not too bad yet. But we can see here, we kind of have too much ink going on here. We want it lighter. Well, one of the things you can do if you're not getting the nice detailed light image that you want is take a plastic spoon and you're going to actually just push that ink aside. Can you see how the pad is turning colors here? Because I'm taking that surface ink and I'm just pushing it out to the side, and then that will prevent me from getting too much ink on my stamp. So now, and we're going to tap it a little bit lighter. We don't have to mash it in there. And when we stamp on our cardstock too, we don't have to give it, you know, super hard pressure, but look at the difference there. Can you see how much more detail we've picked up here just because we've inked our stamp a little bit lighter? So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to do that with my Granny Apple Green too. We're going to move some of this ink out to the side. And then I'm going to show you how to use all the stamps in this set to put together a beautiful card. Oh, I'm using the note cards and envelopes. Remember, you can buy these as a pack, so you get your envelopes and your note cards. And this is where we're gonna just take a sip. We're gonna make a card with just stamps, ink, and paper, but then I've got several other stamps or cards to show you where I've added, you know, some ribbon and some designer series paper to really step them up a bit. But the stamping's exactly the same, so I thought, let's just start on this one. Now, with the lily, I have found that it works best to do the stems first. And it's kind of a personal preference, so you can play around, but we're gonna ink up the one stem. This here, the one with the leaf over here on the left, is for the smaller floral image. And then there's another stem, it's a little bit thicker and the top of it is bigger. This one is for the larger lily. So we'll stamp that one right there. Then there's this other kind of weird looking piece. This is actually another leaf. And I like to use this one. Oh, let's see, am I doing it right? Yeah, I'm doing it right. It kind of confused me there for a second. If you stamp it right along your stem there, it kind of gives you a big leaf coming up, but then you can also flip it and use that larger size to get more of just a smaller leaf coming up over here. So there is our green, and then let's go ahead and grab the Daffodil Delight. Now, if you don't remember the supplies I'm using, just check out my blog post. I'll have down in the description of the video, I'll have a link to it. That way you'll be able to find all the details about not only these cards, but the other ones I'm gonna show you here in a second. I'll list all the products I've used along with the recipes for them. So there are our two beautiful lilies. Now, if you follow me much, you know I kind of love using black. I like black as a layer on cards. I like black for, you know, like words and embossing and white on it. But I also really like to use black as just my greetings on my cards. I think it just really, really pops. And you can stamp it over colors as long as they're light enough. And there is the front of our card. Now let's go ahead and flip it over and real quickly bring in our green here. We will add another flower. Nope, you know what? We want the small one. Ink this up. Remember, we always want to stamp the insides. This here is super easy to line up. That's why I said do the green part first, because it fits right down in there. And then if you want to bring in a second little leaf here, we can even take just this little one and put it there. And then let's add some words on the inside. I have our thoughts are with you. We'll just stamp that right up there. And there we go. There is our card. We can write a little message in there. And then finally, you know me, no naked envelopes. So let's go ahead and add a lily onto our envelope as well. We want the envelopes to always look pretty. So there you go. There is our SIP card. We only use stamps, ink, and paper, but look at how absolutely gorgeous this lasting lily stamp is. And this is where I said you could add thinking of you, birthday, get well, whatever words you have. So if it's not one that's in the stamp set, grab any greeting you have and plop it on there. So now let's go ahead and look at some of the other cards I've made. Now, like I said, I will have pictures of these along with the recipes so that you can make these also if you want, but they're all stamped really exactly the same. I just used some different colors, and I played around a lot with the Gingham Gala designer series paper and coordinated my colors. And then this is another Sale-a-bration item, the ribbon pack, where you get all the ribbons that coordinate with the paper. And I thought this was perfect to just coordinate, make some really nice cards. With Sympathy, I used the tailored tag punch. This is one of my favorites right now. Super easy just to stamp your greeting on a scrap, punch it out, and then don't forget to do something on the inside. Like I said, stamped the exact same way. I just cut my cardstock a little bit differently. And so that's what you'll be able to get the measurements in that blog post. Now, these two, I want to just tell you a little bit about, and you're going to see a lot more of this from me. But these are also in the Occasions catalog. These are the stitched rectangle dies. They're kind of hidden, which surprised me because I think this should be like the #1 thing on everybody's list. But when you cut out these rectangles, they are sized to fit fronts of cards. So, you know, I want to say symmetrical, is that right? But you know, even border all the way around. I can't even tell you the size of this. I didn't measure it, but I know it fits on there nice. Now, let's see if you can see in the video here. I might have to do this on some plain paper later for you. But when I cut this piece out of here, you actually get the stitching around the outside and the inside. So this first card that I made, I cut out the inside there, layered that onto the front of my card. This is just 1/2 sheet of white. Stamping's the same as what we've been doing. Stamp the inside. But then I had this piece I cut out that looked like this, only in daffodil, had the stitching around it. So there you can see where I used it on this card. I just cut another piece out of white. So we've got all the stitching around everything. I stamped just one lily on this one along with our leaves, added the extra leaf there, and there is another card. So guys, you are going to absolutely love this Lasting Lily stamp set. Now remember, you don't have to, go through all the work of all the layers. The stamping on these cards is super simple. It is not any more difficult than this. It just takes a little bit more time because you got to do a little bit of cutting or tying ribbon or whatever. But this stamp set also makes perfect, quick and easy cards. Now don't forget, it is part of Sale-a-bration. The only way to get the stamp set is to get it for free by March 31st with a $100 order. So if you need these catalogs and you need more information, make sure to let me know so I can pop one in the mail to you. And if you have any questions at all, please leave me a comment. I love comments, and I also love it when you give me a thumbs up and you share the video with your friends. The more people that watch the videos, the more inspired I am to keep doing more and more quick and easy card making videos for you. So until I stamp with you again in a couple of days, have a stamp happy day.